What do you think of when you hear the term load management thrown around?
It shouldn't be needed, first and foremost,
You heard that right. Michael Jordan just went off about load management in the NBA, and the message he sent to today's players hit hard. He called out how weak and disrespectful the league's become toward both the fans and the game itself. And get this, he even dropped a dark secret about LeBron's games that might change how you see the entire league. Today we're breaking down MJ's Iron Man mentality that made him a legend, LeBron's shocking secret, and the insane stats proving how soft the NBA's gotten since load management took over. It's about to get wild. You've heard people say they don't make players like they used to. Jordan's exactly why that phrase exists. He had this rule in his mind. If a fan spent their week's paycheck to see him play, he owed them everything that night. No rest, no excuses, no, I'll sit this one out. If you paid to see Michael Jordan, you got Michael Jordan. Every single game.
The fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy way up on top who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket.
And that mindset was real. He played all 82 games 9 different times, even in his late 30s with the Wizards. His knees were shot, but he still suited up every night. Meanwhile, today's players sit out for load management in December. And don't forget, this was the same guy who dropped 38 points in the '97 finals with the flu while barely able to stand. That's not just mental toughness, that's straight up delusional competitiveness. But that's who MJ was. He played through ankle sprains, migraines, back pain, exhaustion, you name it. In 1993, after his father was murdered, he said basketball was therapy. That's how deep his connection to the game ran. And it didn't stop there. His energy infected everyone around him. Teammates used to say that practice with MJ was tougher than actual games. Steve Kerr even got punched in '95 because Jordan couldn't turn it off. He wanted everyone to show up like him. That's why those Bulls teams weren't just good, they were built different. Here's what most people miss. That relentless mindset didn't just win championships, it built the NBA's empire. Before MJ, the league wasn't some global powerhouse. In the early '80s, some finals games weren't even aired live.
You could never come to me and talk to me about load management. Like, AI, you're not playing tonight. Why? We're resting you. You're resting me like you're resting me. That's not load management. That's a suspension, man. Yeah.
Then Jordan arrived, never took nights off, gave fans a show every single game. And suddenly, the NBA became the hottest thing in sports. Merch sales exploded. Every kid on earth wanted to be like Mike, and the league went worldwide. Not because of marketing, but because fans trusted MJ to deliver greatness every time. You bought a ticket, you got the real deal. No excuses. Jordan believed greatness meant showing up even when it hurt, even when it was impossible. That was his code. So when a man who played through the flu, exhaustion, and grief says today's players are disrespecting fans by sitting out, you feel that explosion. You can't just ignore that, man. And here's the wild part. Jordan's not the only one who feels that way. When he called out load management, NBA legends didn't even blink. Icons like Iverson, Barkley, and Magic all nodded like, finally, someone said it. That wasn't Jordan being bitter. It was him representing an entire era built on one simple rule. If you can walk, you play. Kobe Bryant was basically Jordan 2.0 when it came to that mindset. Kobe hated the idea of rest. In one of his last interviews, he even laughed and said he couldn't wrap his head around it. He was like, what the heck is load management? This is the same man who tore his Achilles, stood up, and still hit 2 free throws before limping off.
Stop this BS with load management. We can't keep crapping on the fans where we're like, wait, you're making $70 million and you can't play basketball 4 days a week?
In 2019, when people asked if he ever thought about sitting out, Kobe literally said this, and that's the Mamba talking. He and Jordan shared the same DNA, a code LeBron never really had. Then there's Allen Iverson, the toughest 6-foot player to ever step on the court. AI played every game like it was a street fight. Fractured fingers, bruised ribs, sprained ankles, it didn't matter. He once said on the New Heights podcast that the idea of resting on purpose didn't even exist when he played. He said, if you could walk, you were hooping. Yeah, and Jordan's not exaggerating one bit. In 2001, Allen Iverson played through 10 listed injuries and still dragged the Sixers all the way to the finals. That's hard. And Charles Barkley, he's been calling this out for years and never sugarcoats it on TNT. He straight up said modern players are pampered, they cheat the fans, and it's a joke how guys sit out perfectly healthy. Barkley's logic is simple. Fans pay thousands to see the best hoopers play, not watch designer tracksuits sitting on the bench. And he's not wrong. That's classic Barkley, raw and bulletproof. Then you've got Magic Johnson. When load management started catching heat, Magic didn't hold back either. He said it flat out. It's hurting the game. Magic's whole brand was Showtime. And he knew the truth. The NBA is entertainment. If your stars aren't on the court, the show dies.
They have got to do something about this load management. It's hurting the game.
He even pointed out that ratings dropped nearly 40% in recent years, and it's no mystery why. Fans tune out when stars don't play. And don't forget the Iron Men, Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, Larry Bird. Guys who treated 80 games like a warm-up. Malone alone played 80 or more games in 17 out of 19 seasons. Absolute machines. That's nearly 2 decades of never missing work. Patrick Ewing was built the same way. Even with busted knees, he still suited up for all 82 games. And Larry Bird, that man's back was done. His herniated discs were so bad, he had to lie flat on the locker room floor during timeouts just to ease the pain. He once said he didn't want to disappoint the fans who came to see him play. Yeah, imagine that. The man could barely stand, but he still dropped 30 points because people paid to watch greatness. That's the difference between eras right there. Those guys saw playing as respect. You don't take nights off when people plan their week around seeing you perform. So when Jordan calls out today's stars, like LeBron, for promoting laziness and softness, he's not ranting. He's warning the league about sliding into mediocrity. And if you think it's just old head nostalgia, the stats say otherwise. Back in the 80s and 90s, playing every game wasn't rare. It was expected.
Because I was injured during that whole year. But other than that, if I'm able to play, I'll play basketball.
In 1980, 56 players played all 82 games. The next year, 57. Through the 90s, the pattern stayed strong. 58 players in 1990, 50 in 1991, 50 in 1992, 51 in 1993, 52 in 1994, 53 in 1995, 54 in 1996, 55 in 1997, 56 in 1998, 57 in 1999, 53 in 1992, 51 in 1998, and 58 in 1998, 2000 factorial. Nearly 60 players a season, a full modern roster's worth, were true Iron Men. Now fast forward to the load management era. 2016 had just 18. The next year, 17. By 2019, only 21. Then it crashed completely. Just 5 players in 2022, 5 out of hundreds. 2023 saw 10, and early projection for 2025 hover around 11. From nearly 60 a season to barely a dozen. That's how far the grind has fallen. That's not evolution. That's a disgrace to the NBA's legacy. And it's not like the league suddenly got tougher. Players today have private jets, personal chefs, sleep coaches, and recovery techs straight out of a sci-fi movie. Yet somehow, they play less. Old school players didn't have load charts or recovery data. They had ice baths, grit, and pride. They showed up because fans deserved consistency. That's the code Jordan's talking about. The code that built global respect for the NBA when nearly 60 players a year played all 82 games, and now we celebrate when someone cracks 70. That's not progress. That's a warning. The numbers don't just tell a story. They expose an era that forgot what it means to show up every night. The league doesn't hit the same anymore. Today's NBA is obsessed with comfort, control, and strategic rest. Players manage their minutes like stock portfolios. Sure, it sounds smart on paper, but when fans drop hundreds just to watch their favorite player chill in designer sweats on the bench, it doesn't feel smart. It feels disrespectful. Let's be real. The modern NBA turned playing basketball into risk management. Guys skip games like it's a company policy. Back then, players feared losing their spot. Now they fear soreness. And you can't talk about this without naming the ringleader, LeBron James. His whole, if I'm hurt, I don't play. If not, I'm playing line from 2019. That's one of the most pathetic things a self-proclaimed GOAT could ever say. And that right there sums up this generation's mindset. It's not about playing through pain anymore. It's about protecting the brand. LeBron's missed over 100 games in the past 5 seasons, more than MJ missed in his entire Bulls career outside that broken foot year. And that's wild when you realize MJ was playing 40 minutes a night, getting slammed by the bad boy Pistons, and still showing up the next day like it was war. And here's where it hits deep. Remember the flu game? Game 5 of the '97 finals. Jordan could barely stand, drenched in sweat before tip-off, looking pale and dehydrated. The trainer said he was done, but MJ went out, dropped 38 points, hit the dagger, and collapsed into Pippen's arms. That wasn't just a performance, that was a statement. He played when his body said no because of the respect he had for the game. But let's be honest, LeBron's not the only one. Kawhi Leonard basically invented modern load management back in 2019 with the Raptors. The plan was simple: sit Kawhi 22 games so he's fresh for the playoffs. And sure, it worked. They won a ring, but it came with side effects. Teams saw that and thought, why risk anything in January?
I'm trying to make a name for myself. There's no way I can sit. You know, I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play. I want to win. I want to make an.
Suddenly, Kawhi became the poster boy for load management, and that Raptors run turned a medical strategy into a full-blown culture. Remember when Kawhi was asked about it at a press conference and just shrugged? If I can play, I'll play. Yeah, that one. And then there's Kevin Durant, always talking about protecting longevity and being smart with his body. Let's be real, the old heads didn't care about load science or maintenance. They played for legacy, not longevity. Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, Larry Bird, those dudes weren't calculating career extensions. They were chasing greatness every single night. KD's logic makes sense for careers, sure, but from a fan's perspective, it kills the magic. Back then, every night felt special, like anything could happen. Now fans have to pray their favorite star even shows up for a game they planned months in advance. Even Steph Curry, one of the most loved players alive, has bought into this rest when necessary culture. He missed multiple marquee games last season just for load management. And the wildest part, it's become normal. Stars play 60 games, skip the hard ones, and still end up in MVP talks like they've been grinding all year. Imagine telling that to players from the 90s. They'd laugh you right out of the arena. But here's the real twist. All this rest hasn't even worked. Teams claim to be smarter, more scientific, more careful, yet injuries keep piling up. A 2024 study showed player availability actually declined over the past decade, even with all this load management. So if it doesn't even work, what are we doing here? MJ's generation didn't have sports scientists telling them when to breathe. They had pride, and that pride built the global NBA brand these new stars are cashing in on today. The sad truth, we might never get that raw, passionate era back. The one where stars loved the game more than the optics, and every night meant something. So yeah, this is officially the softest era the NBA has ever seen. The talent's there, sure, but the heart, gone. The hunger, the obligation, the respect for the grind, all missing. MJ didn't just play basketball. He treated it like a duty. But too many players today act like it's just an option. And here's where it gets spicy. Because when MJ snapped about load management, let's be real, he wasn't speaking in general terms. That was a direct shot. Everyone knows exactly who he meant. LeBron James. See, MJ doesn't throw random jabs. He's too calculated for that. When he talks about players sitting out, losing that hunger, and choosing comfort over competition, that's not vague criticism. That's him saying, don't call yourself the GOAT if you're picking rest nights over real games. And you know what's crazy? MJ's always shown mad love for Kobe Bryant. He called Kobe his little brother and said he was the only one who truly matched his drive. MJ respected that relentless fire. Kobe didn't talk about being built different. He proved it every night. Now ask yourself, has MJ ever said that about LeBron? Nope, never, not once. Instead, we've all seen that clip. Yeah, that one, where MJ said LeBron moves strange. That wasn't some random comment. That was a surgical diss. What MJ really meant was that LeBron doesn't have that old school DNA, because LeBron's so-called greatness has always come with calculation. He curates his image like a brand, always talking about longevity, playing smart, and protecting his body. It's all so corporate, and that's the core of it. MJ's not saying LeBron isn't great. He's saying LeBron's version of greatness wouldn't survive in the era that built legends like him. LeBron plays to maintain. MJ played to dominate. Kobe got that. And that's why MJ respected him like a peer, not a successor.
LeBron always moved strange, not like Kobe. And when the Diddy stuff came out, I knew I was right all along. That's why I chose to mentor Kobe, not him.
And now, back to load management. Because it's gotten so bad, the NBA literally has to force stars to play. That's right. The league finally had enough and dropped the new player participation policy, basically saying, if you're healthy, you're playing. No more random rest nights. Since 2023, the rule's been clear. Star players must play in all nationally televised and in-season tournament games unless there's a real reason to sit. Teams can't rest more than one star in the same game either. And then there's the 65-game rule. You want MVP, All-NBA, or Defensive Player of the Year? Cool, go play basketball. You've got to hit 65 games to even qualify now? That says it all. Fans in the league are done with this nonsense. Wild to think that back in 2012, Greg Popovich got fined $250,000 just for resting starters against the Heat on national TV. That was the warning shot. Now it's a full-on crackdown. And honestly, it's sad the NBA even had to make this rule. Jordan didn't need anyone to tell him to show up. Kobe didn't need a rule either. But now you gotta bribe players with awards just to get them on the court. That's not load management. That's babysitting. And the excuses these days? Man, they're endless. Teams and players hide behind science and analytics, tossing around fancy words like heart rate monitoring, recovery protocols, and workload metrics like they're running NASA, as if sitting out 20 games is some genius master plan. They call it protecting longevity or optimizing performance. Sounds smart, right? But it's really not. The NBA itself studied 10 years of data and found zero proof that resting players prevents injuries. Their own report literally said, results do not suggest that missing games for rest or load management reduces future injury risk. Translation, load management is a complete facade. And the worst part, the fans are the ones paying the price. The damage is piling up. Ticket holders planning months ahead just to find out their favorite star is chilling in street clothes. Remember Kawhi Leonard's 2019 Raptors run? He sat out 22 regular season games for load management, all to stay fresh for the playoffs. Sure, they won a ring, but here's the twist. That season created a blueprint. Teams across the league copied it overnight. Suddenly, load management wasn't about health, it was about numbers. And the fallout's been brutal. Real-time fans, the ones dropping hundreds for tickets, keep getting burned. In 2022, Curry skipped a marquee Warriors-Bucks matchup. In 2023, LeBron set out multiple nationally televised games, sparking outrage across social media. And now it's deeper than just missing games. Load management is distorting entire narratives. MVP races, playoff seedings, even highlight reels all come with the same question. Yeah, but which games did the star actually play? Every time a star sits out, the league loses a little more of its soul. Another question mark, another bit of excitement gone. This isn't just about stats or trophies. It's about what basketball used to mean. Back then, the grind was everything. Michael Jordan didn't play just because he was talented. He played because showing up mattered. Legends like Kobe, Bird, and Malone treated pain like part of the job. Fans expected the sweat, the drama, the unpredictability, and they got it. Now the whole story's flipped. Stars manage minutes, skip tough games, and fans feel that emptiness. The thrill's been replaced with comfort and strategy. When Jordan called out load management, it wasn't just a rant, it was a wake-up call, a message to the players, the league, and the fans. This isn't what basketball should feel like. The old school grit, the fight, the pride, that's what made it magic. If players keep chasing comfort over competition, we'll lose that heartbeat for good, and that's what makes this so urgent. So let's be real. Are we really okay letting this soft era define the NBA, or do we want that old school hunger back? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who today actually plays like they owe it to the fans? Smash that like button if you're done with excuses, and hit subscribe for more raw takes that call out the league exactly how it is.